Today, I'm going to be installing this Rove 4K dash cam in this Hyundai Sonata right over here. This company was nice enough to send me this whole setup, which is basically two parts. One is this smart installation kit, which is unique, and I'm going to cover that in this video. I'm going to do a separate video covering the features and functions of the actual dash cam, because otherwise it would be too lengthy and it wouldn't be irrelevant to people who just want to know how to actually install the thing. So this here is the installation kit. And I'll tell you, this kit is unique. I've seen a lot of kits, a lot of dash cams, a lot of the same old, it seems, because it's always, you see one, you've seen them all. But this one here, I have to say, honestly, is different. And here's what makes it different. Number one is they come with this hardwire adapter, which gives you several different options. You could have this thing set up in different modes for different usage and what you actually need the dash cam to do. If you want parking monitor, if you want motion camera, if you want driving, you want it always on, whatever it is that you want it to do, this thing will do it. It has a mode built into the side right here, so it will automatically save the battery. It has another one there for parking mode switch, which you can select yourself, which is something I've never seen. Long cable, which you can connect to the dash cam, as well as these, which are totally different. I've never seen anything like this, not even close to this. These things are actually fuse taps, and there's one for each different style fuse. You can see, so no matter what your type of fuse in your vehicle for your fuse panel, you plug that in there and it's got a little piggyback spot. So in that empty blank spot is where you put this fuse. Say your car had a 15 amp in this spot right here. You pop that in there, you slide this in where the fuse was. This will piggyback 5 amps and put it out, and that male will connect into this female. So this pretty much plug and play, with semi plug and play, I guess you might say, but it's awful simplified. The instructions, which I have to say are robust. These things are like literally books. There's very little to be wondering about after you read these books. If you actually take the time to read these manuals, you'll see that they're pretty damn good. Videos are actually, in my opinion, better because they get to the point and it's more relevant and you can kind of like see what you're actually doing. But the books, I'd have to say, they've actually done a pretty damn good job of covering all the materials. Here's what's in the box. You got this wiring test light. And the test light is good. The light could be a little bit more brighter. It's a little dim, but it is what it is. There's a fuse puller, 2 plastic panel pullers, which are good to snake wires underneath the A pillars and down underneath the dashboard. Some wire ties. This here is the mount for the camera, which we're not going to cover today. This here is not what I'm going to use. This here would be if you're going to just plug it in into the cigarette lighter, and you'd have piggyback USBs, one for the unit and another one for an auxiliary, which is nice because some of these things only give you one and they leave you stranded. That's cool. And these little doodads, you can run wires down the window, which I would never do because that's just hideous. A screen protector here. We got another USB extension cable, which is going to run the power and signal through the camera down to the bottom of the dash where you're connecting this power source to. You got one here for accessory power, one for constant power, and of course you have a pre-plumbed connector here for the ground, which is going to be the chassis metal underneath the dashboard, which you have to locate. And that's really the hardest part of the wiring. I've never seen anything so dynamic and easy for people to actually do an installation as this one here. So I'm going to do the actual installation and show you how I do it, and then hopefully this will all be helpful and make a lot more sense to you so you could do this yourself. So when you get started, just remember, use the right cable for connecting it. This one here is a hardwire cable. I'm going to use this with this just so that way I can get it mounted and see where I'm going to be wanting this thing connected, and then I'm going to pull it off and use this to make my permanent install. Keep in mind when you mount this thing, like in this vehicle, it has this dot matrix, which sucks in my opinion because it blocks and it makes the display recording awful. So you want to avoid that. So I had to bring it all the way down here just so I can see it, what you see here, clear glass from the bottom to the top. So keep that in consideration when you're mounting your dash cam. And this one here, I would have liked to have it here, but it would have looked like looking through this, and who the hell wants that? Next step here is to set my battery drain protection switch, which I'm going to leave on the factory setting because I like that one. Also here, parking mode switch, I'm going to leave it on factory default. Next step, go into the vehicle, locate the fuse, and I'm going to be using the standard connection method where it works all the time. And that's the one we're going to be using here. So depending on your use, you could choose which application you want to have it set up for and just follow it color to color. Also, to be fair to the product and be true to represent what it does, I'm going to use their test light and their fuse puller. And In the spirit of using their included products, to be fair, I'm using their supplied tools, which this one here works actually pretty well to pry these plastic panels. Get more leverage on this side, a little less on this one. But this tool does not work so bad. Also helps to hide the wire up on the top. If you have adaptive cruise control or any modules or radar in your front windshield, make sure you test drive your vehicle before you tighten everything up and secure it permanently. And just tighten your wire underneath there. You come around here, basically just go right in there, pulling out the weather stripping and replacing it as you go down until we get down here to our fuse box, which is where we're going to make our wiring connections. Now I'm at the point where I'm on the side panel, which I just removed by gently prying this sideways, and it pops out with these clips, like in most cars. And then I'm going to run this wire through here, and I got a space. I can go through here, and I can bundle up my smart module right here, and I can make my connections to the fuse box. Actually, I already got a ground because I got one from my neon lights from an earlier installation, so that's okay to use. I'll do my connections. My first one I'm going to do is my ground. Now, although the manual doesn't say it, this is my little rule. Take a little star washer like this and put it in here so that way when you turn this screw down, you lock it down, it won't back out and it'll stay secure. So grounding is a super critical important when you're doing wiring. When you find the fuse that you need to pull out, you just grab this little tool, you click it on until it grabs the fuse like this, and just pull it out straight towards you. And this thing works actually really well. I forgot how simple and fantastically well these tools work, actually. I haven't used one in so long. These are called mini ATC fuses, so I'm going to be using this version of the fuse holder, which I'll be replacing the fuse with this. This one here is my 5 amp power piggyback, which is going to go to my dash cam, and this empty hole is where I will put the original fuse back in there and stick it back in the way it was before I mess with it. With both fuses, this is what it looks like. The original is the white one, and then this just goes right back, right where I plugged it in from. Boop. So using their supply test light, I can verify the power coming out of the fuse holder that I attached to. And how you do that is you just take it, connect it to the edge of here, and it'll tell you that there's no voltage. Now I'll put the key on. With the vehicle started, you can see on the test light right there, I don't know if you can read it, but it says 14.1, so it's telling me the voltage. Not too bad for a free tool. Good job, guys. After you have your fuse tab connected and you have the other side from the adapter, basically you just take this male side right here and you're going to find the other side, if you'll behave. With this insulated female side, just pop them in, male to female, and pull the sleeve over to protect the wire. See that? It lights up. This key is off. So that's the guy we want. What we do is we just take our handy little fuse puller here and pull it out. I gotta say, I just love how simple these things are. I have never seen anything so enjoyable to work on when you're making connections to the fuse panel before. Besides a fuse tab, this thing is even better than a fuse tab. Look at that, simple. Separately fused, I mean, what else can you ask for? Fully insulated, ready to go, female to male, connect. Literally seconds. Nice. Although that these things have a insulated side sleeve for both sides, the female and the male side, and they slide in there, I don't like to trust that stuff. I always recommend taking an extra wrap around of some 3M electrical tape or something similar just to keep it, because you got to have secure connections. I'm just a fanatic when that stuff happens. And when I mount this up, I'm going to take another wire tie, wrap it around, and secure this up and out of the way, so that way if this vehicle needs service in the future, my wiring won't be messing them up and driving them crazy. And that's pretty much it. Once you do that and you have the power applied, that thing will come on and it'll say parking mode enabled, so you know you have power. And we'll turn on the settings in a separate video, show you how to turn that thing on and off and set it up to do what you want it to do. But this is how the wiring portion of the system works. Very easy. Nice kit, I must say. I am impressed. So once you've made your connections, you're going to wire tie your module. Mine is right there, so that way if I ever have to switch something, if I want to change one of the settings or customize it, I can do that. And if you have the ability and the room to do so, I definitely suggest you do the same thing. And that is the end of that.